Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of Career Conversations. Today, I have a very special guest. She's a graphic artist. Her name is Sushmita Biswas, and she is in Calcutta, India. And she's going to talk to us about her journey. And I have kind of roped her into this career conversation because I've really enjoyed watching and seeing her art on LinkedIn, all of the feminist expression, the ideas about what it looks like to understand what abuse looks like, different things. So she's taken her art and turned it into a bit of activism so that we can all have a better understanding about how to live a great life. And so I want to welcome Sushmita to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was a great introduction. I loved it. Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you for
you're
inviting me.
you're welcome. Like I was like, I see something awesome. I want to share it with the world so that people can enjoy and appreciate it as well. And I understand you're also on Instagram, right?
Yeah, I'm also on Instagram. I'm also on
Okay,
Instagram. I
so
have recently started writing the articles on Medium as well because I felt that not a lot of people are on Instagram and LinkedIn, so I can just use that as well.
oh cool. So people can find your articles on Medium and then they can find you on
Mhm.
Instagram. I think it's at word.arts.
Arts underscore. There will be an underscore at the end.
All right, let's fix that, and I'll make sure we get people to find you on Instagram because I want people to be able to enjoy all the exciting work that you do. And so this is where you can find
Let
Sushmita on
let me let
Instagram.
me let me just put it out. I think that
Oh, it's not
you,
underscore.
yeah. Can you check that? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You wrote it right the first time, just an underscore at the end.
Oh, it's not a capital.
Yeah, you can see the chat. I have sent you the chat, so you can just check it.
Okay, perfect. Ah, oh, I see. And I copied and
Yeah,
pasted this all wrong. Okay, so
yeah.
that's what I missed. That last underscore. Give me 1 second, guys, to get it right today, and then I will do a little edited magic on the back
Sure,
end.
sure.
So if you all want to see Sushmita on Instagram, this is where you could find her. I'm gonna double check my work. Arts. Okay. So I didn't save it in. Great. All right, we're gonna get into the interview part of this. There.
Yes, perfect.
This is where you can find her on Instagram so that you can
Yeah.
enjoy and appreciate all of the
Thank you.
beautiful work that she does. So if you're not following her on LinkedIn, you can't add her as a connection because she's already got way more connections than LinkedIn will allow. But if you want to see more of her work, you can definitely follow her on Instagram, guys.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you so much.
yeah. So tell me this: what does your family think you do when you tell them that you're a graphic artist?
Yeah. So my parents are all doctors, both of them. My entire family are academically they have excelled. Like majority of my cousins, the parents, aunt, uncle, everyone like either teacher, doctors, or something like that. And I'm also an engineer as well, software
Oh
engineer.
wow.
But I have never worked in that field, so I never actually thought that I'll be an engineer, designer. So I went from school to college, and there was a 3 years gap in between my school and the college. And during that time period, I was actually doing a lot of things. As in, I was trying out different college or subjects, and then when I was at home, I was preparing for the engineering and others, and I was actually designing, and that was something that I never learned from anywhere because it was like self-taught. I was just doing it for passion or something like that. So it was like at the end of 2 years when I started my college, I started learning and also working at the same time. So before I ended my college, I actually had a career in my hand. So I
Oh,
didn't have
that's
to think about
awesome.
what else I wanted to do. So
So
that's how I actually became a designer. Yeah.
your family is very
So basically
ambitious.
what happened was, yeah, they were like, you have to be a designer, sorry, you have to be a doctor or obviously an engineer because you come from an academic like excel family like that. So I became an engineer, but what happened was at the end of when I got a job in the engineering field, but I was so much into designing. I wanted to create these kinds of things that you see on my platform that there are different types of things that I do, like feminism, women empowerment, then other kinds of putting out the thoughts and all kinds of designs, and also branding and industrial work. So there are so many different sectors. So for me it was like, this is something that I really like, and I have a career in it already. So there is no point of me being there somewhere which I don't think that this is right. This is the right time for me. So maybe, so for example, 5 years from now, I might think that okay, sure, why not? I might try something in the engineering field as a freelance or something. But maybe not right now. So my parents were like, okay, you're doing something great, you were earning, you learned it on your own, okay, let's go ahead with it. They did not, so I did not really create a scene. I was just like, I'll just earn some money and then show them and then think about it. That's what I actually did. I didn't create a chaos or anything at home. So I
Oh,
didn't
that's
want to do
awesome
that.
that your parents were able to kind of see this was actually working for you and then
Exactly,
support
exactly,
you. You didn't have to go, Mom,
exactly.
Dad, I refuse to be an engineer. You just said, okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to try this
exactly. I
thing.
completed my studies. I completed my studies and then I went forward with it. I never interrupted my studies.
That's a smart approach. A lot of people would kind of probably try the rebellious route and go, I'm not finishing my studies. I'm going to be an artist. You
That's
said, look, I will do the responsible thing. I'm going to finish my studies.
exactly. You should never do that because you never know that if it would work out or not, right? Because graphic designing is not really a mainstream thing. Engineering, doctors, lawyers, pilots, these are the things that usually people opt for, right? So when you are going for something off stream, you have to think that will it work? Do I have the business idea and the strategies that might work? So it takes time. So I was like, no, I'm not going to drop out of anything. I'll think about it, and if I'm successful at it, then definitely I'll go forward with it. Why not? That's what I actually did.
So, at what moment did you know that being a graphic artist was going to work out for you?
I think it was during the COVID period. I was already working for 2.5 years or so. I mean, from 2017, medium of 2017, and but during the COVID period, it was like the entire world changed. So, for example, when other people were not getting work, for me, it was completely different. I was getting a tremendous amount of work. It was like a huge work pressure, and I was like constantly battling between which one to pick and which one not to pick, depending on the deadlines and everything. So I was like, okay, fine, maybe I'll do it. And that was the time period I was earning a lot of money. I started. It was like a huge bump for me, and I was like, you know what, I'm really gonna do this. This is the right thing for me. I would do it.
So, COVID actually was a transition point where your business really took off for you.
Exactly, exactly. It was a great thing for me, to be honest.
Wow. So, do you have a favorite type of work that you do? I noticed you share on on your profile that you also do product design. Like, is there a particular like sector you really love doing graphic artwork for?
So, for example, I work in different domains and in different industries. So, for example, I
Okay.
can work in IT, fashion, e-commerce, healthcare, medicine, or any field that is associated and related to the designing they require. So, I can work in those. But I usually prefer working in the, so I have divided the work in two different ways. One is that I have to work for the industries where I'm providing the things they require. And another thing is where I'm creating something for the audience directly. So for example, the feminism, the women empowerment, the violence, domestic violence, or being a strong woman, or those kinds of posts and thoughts that I like to put out because it creates awareness, it connects people. So I really love those kinds of work. I mean, it's not really design based, it's more really like thought and the the subject based, I would say, in that case.
Okay, so you divided it up. So there's the direct to sort of audience pieces, and then there's the things for different industries.
Right.
Um, let's see. Does it take a lot of time to learn? How did you learn your skill? You said you self-taught.
Yeah. So for me it was like I basically made that as an integral part of my life. So for example, if I was sad, I would draw. If I was happy, I would draw. If I was angry, I would draw. It was something like that, that I would not skip even a single day. It was like that for me. So for example, my college was really like far away from my home. It would take like 2 hours of 4 hours of traveling, going up and down.
Yeah.
So I would design during that period. I taught myself that I could design while traveling in bus or something, or car, or maybe if I am in the class and there is no class, like as in no teacher has came, or I have bunked it, or maybe I have gone for somewhere, and there are times that I would go somewhere and I would just sit there, say cafe or some like any open place, and I would just sit down with my workbook and I would just design. So that's how I did. Like I would never skip a single day, and for that it was like, if it was YouTube, it was just Instagram. So for me, I did not like to go with what kind of designs already there. For me, it was like something I would know, but also I would create from my own trend set or something like that. So I would take real time pictures or thoughts or ideas and try to build on those things because I felt that that was more important to me to put out to the audience, to be honest.
So you were looking for like true to life moments, and you said, "Okay,
Right,
I've taken
right.
this picture. Let's embellish and expand on this."
Exactly, exactly. So it was that kind of thing for me, that I would really like to, like, write down quotes or something like that, or designs, or illustrate, or these kinds of products. Like, okay, what else can be done in the industry? People haven't seen it yet, so let's just put it out. Let's just see what will happen. So it was that for me.
Yeah. But I love that you said, "Look, I'm not going to let anything stop me. This is what I want to become. Yes, I'm going to school to
Yeah,
be an engineer, but I'm going to take this 2 hour bus or car ride to school, and I'm going to practice my craft, the thing that you truly are passionate about." Uh,
exactly. For me, I felt that, see, I'm a person who can be lazy very easily. So I'm like, I have to work, because for me it's more like work keeps me sane. you know
hmm.
you can think a lot of things. You're not, your mind is not really empty. You are always working on something, then you have always something to process. So it's kind of easy for me, because I feel that you learn a lot when you go through a lot of process, right? You learn
Mhm.
a lot about people, you learn a lot about culture, then industries, and so many things are out there. You can connect with people, and it's very easy, and it's important, because you are in a world where so many societies and so many world, and different kind of culture is there. So you should know about these things. It really helps to build things which are out in the society, I think so.
I love that you said, "Look, I keep myself busy so that my mind isn't roaming all over the place." And it sounds like you said you draw when you're sad, you draw when you're happy. Just it's an outlet for you. So
Yeah,
does it feel like work when you're drawing, or is it just more kind of a leisurely feeling for you?
it never feels like work. It's just sometimes, you have deadlines and it's very close, then it's very hectic. But so for example, if you tell me that, Sushmita, you have to work for say 2 days straight, I wouldn't mind. Really, I wouldn't mind. I would work up late and I'll just complete it and then I'll go to sleep. So I don't care, to be honest, because for me it's like I'm creating something and it's fun, and it's something I'm creating. It is mine, and I'm giving out to people or to the audience. It's fun for me. So it's not really something that, oh, it's work. Sometimes it's whenever you are working for a long shift, say for example 5 6 days, then it's like, I would take a break, then I would come back. But no, it doesn't feel like work in that way, maybe.
No, that makes perfect sense. It kind of reminds me when I get like down to the nitty gritty. It's like 2 or 3 days before a deadline. I work on proposals actually, and so sometimes you're right. You're working the long hours, then you pause and get some rest.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that kind of works for me. I think, for example, a lot of people, most of the people, they're like, I'll work from Monday to Friday, and then Saturday Sunday I have like break, right, weekend. But what I prefer to do is I would work as long as I need to, and then even if it's like in the middle of the week, and if it's like, what, I have worked a long time now, I need a break for maybe a day or some few hours at least, then I'll just take a break. So for me it's like that, because I'm a freelancer. I work on contract or part time, but even if I work as say full time with a company or something like that, for me I would like, I'll just finish all the work and just maybe take the night off entirely for myself, and I wouldn't work on anything in that case.
Yeah. So with your days of rest and time off, what are you doing to recharge?
Oh, I love to watch movies. I
Oh
watch
yeah.
movies. Yeah, I love to watch movies, documentaries. I love series a lot. So it's something that I'm in love with the documentaries. You will see like the biopics and the war movies, and I'm just fascinated to know like what's happening, what happened, and how it happened. It kind of is like, okay, now I can create something around it too. So it kind of helps me get the content as well. I watch comedy videos as well. That's what I do. That's another thing that I do. I love to do comedy videos. I love to watch comedy videos. I see like both Indian and outside the world people from there who have created so many great videos. I love to go through that, and it kind of is like refreshes you a lot. You have a different perspective towards a lot of things, because they show you these kinds of things that are there in the world. They would represent to you in that manner. So I get content and like ideas from that as well. It helps me.
So tell me this: do you have a favorite movie like ever?
Favorite movie? Yeah, I have a few of them. Like those are like something I'll just fall back to now and again. It's like The Martian. Um, That's like, I love that. There are so many others, but I don't know. I can name them at the moment because I have like a list of. So what I did was that day, I just wanted to make sure that people knew like what are the great movies or something that you can watch or I have watched, and I just wanted to put it out. So I created content and posted it on Instagram and in LinkedIn so that people could just go through it. I love Marvel movies, definitely. I like DC movies as well. I love Joker. I love the entire Marvel series. Uh, then what else? There are so many others. I have watched Philadelphia recently, the series. I have watched many others. So I completely love it. So anything new that comes up and it's related to work, crime, thriller, or something like that, and it's like it interests me a lot. I would really watch it. I would binge watch it.
So you like movies that make you cry a little?
Yeah, I love that. I like things to be realistic as well. So, for example, Schindler's List, I'm like, oh my God, this happened, and this is The Pianist, the Schindler's List. So these are the movies like Theory of Everything. I can just go on. Beautiful Mind. There are so many great movies which are out there. Like, I really love those movies. They kind of
So it
make you
sounds like
real and human. Yeah.
so it sounds like you're really like sort of the intersection of art and history.
Kind of, yes. So, for example, if you tell me, like, do you like theater or drama based movies, I would say no. But if
Oh
it's
wow.
realistic, like, so for example, Schindler's List, The Pianist, or these are like dark tragedy, this kind of movies as well. But I really like those because it's not dramatized. It's just set as just it's perfect, it's on point. And I really love those because you it helps to connect you with the history. It tells you what has happened and how you shouldn't be in future, for other people. So I really love those. I absolutely love those.
So you love the kind of art that you create in a lot of ways because a lot of the art you create is like, look, this is how we can be better. These are the things we've learned in life. I love
Exactly.
it. Did you always want to be an artist?
No, no.
No.
I know. So when I was a kid, since I was a kid, I was a person who was creative. I knew it because why I can say this, like whenever we used to create like projects for the subjects and all, I used to be like we need to do this in the front and all those things and be a little bit creative. So I now I think that I really was going through a lot of things which I knew, but I did not know what I want to do from there. Take it forward as a graphic designer or designer of any sort. So probably in that time I was probably just doing crafts and creative work because it was fun for me. But then it was like, you know what, I really like it. I am earning money out of it, and this is something it just gives me, it makes me happy, and it's fun for me. Then why wouldn't I make it a career? So I think that was that for me, that yeah, I could do it. But never thought that I will be a designer. Definitely.
So what did you think you would be when you grew up, or what did you want to be?
Well, I did not know because I was told that I'll be a doctor or an engineer. I did not know what I wanted to be. So the time period between my school and my college, that was a very hard time for me. I was not talking to a lot of people. I was actually in depression that a lot of people didn't know. And for me, that time was the worst time of my life and the best time of my life because designing was something that I tremendously worked on every single day, and it was like an outlet for me. And then it worked out. I was like, you know what, I'll do it. So for example, in the middle of say second year or first year as well, even though I was working, I thought maybe I'll just gain experience, earn a little bit money, and just go forward with different industries and whatever they are out there. But I at that moment as well, I did not know that is this something I can make as a career, or is it there in me that I can do it. But later I was like, you know what, I can just, let's push it a little bit, let's just work a little bit harder, let's see what happens. And I was not there to just I wouldn't give up. I don't care what happens, but I wouldn't give up on my talent. So I was just doing both at side by side, engineering and designing. So it was actually fun. It was very hectic, but it was fun.
Like I can see the smile on your face as you reflect on it about how much you enjoyed it. Like you
Yeah.
said,
I just love it. You have no idea. It was like a very hard time for me. It was like I was constantly working for probably 15 to 16 hours, or 18 hours a day. Like I was not getting enough sleep because I have to do the college, I have to work on my assignments, I have to do the lab, I have to work on the client's work and my own work. It was like a huge thing, but it was fun. It was like my mom always told me this one thing, that whatever you learn and whatever you work on, it never goes to waste.
Hmm.
It just comes around and it pays off. And it paid off. And I'm
Your
happy that
mom
it
is a
did.
wise woman.
Yeah, she is. She is. She's a great. She's a great person.
So tell me this: do you have mentors or mentees?
No, I have mentees, but to be honest, I actually don't like to teach designing. For me,
Really?
designing, yeah, it's like, because I didn't learn the designing as a proper way, right? So I did not learn that from this to that you have to go from this step and that step. I have learned it in my own process, that how I create it and how I make it alive and complete it, right? So it's there is like a completely different process. And I think it's very personal. And I always feel that any creative work, you can't really teach someone. You can just give an outline, right? Because it's very personal, that how you process it. Like, do I want to take this topic in this way, or do I want to take this topic in a separate, completely different way, right? You can't really teach that to someone. You can just only guide the software. So I really hate to teach designing, but I teach other things. So for example, how an industry works, freelancing, branding, content creation, then other kinds of marketing strategies. And you will see like these kinds of topics are there on my feed as well, in LinkedIn or in Instagram or in Medium. So I teach that because I feel that people need to know these things more than being talented. You can be talented, but if you don't know these things, you won't survive in the industry, and you really need to learn those things. I always feel that.
I think you make an excellent point. Like you said, it's great to be talented, but if people don't know about your talent, how are you able to
Exactly,
connect the dots?
exactly, exactly. That's the thing, that you can't do. Like, you are in a you for example, I'll give you an example. There have been people from like great institutes. They have reached me and they have said that we are not getting job. Can you help us or something? Because it's not that they're not talented. They're extremely talented. I have seen their work, but they don't know how to work in the industry. They don't know how to proceed, and they don't know how to build a profile and how the entire thing works. So it's extremely important that people know these things. If you're coming to this industry, you have to know these things. Otherwise, it's going to be great difficult for you. I think so, at least.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give somebody that's interested in becoming a graphic artist?
I would say don't get inspired by art form. Get inspired by what you can do for the audience. Like, what can you create that people will be like, wow, this is something that I never thought of. Second is, you have to be very, very consistent. You can't be that I'm just gonna draw for once in a week and that's done. You have to do it every single day. Do for half an hour, do for 1 hour or something, but do consistently, like every single day, because it is important. That is so. For example, I'll give you an example. It's like when you go to the gym, right? You can't be that I'm gonna work out for once a week and I'm done. You have to work out every day to get a result. So that
Yes.
it's similar to that. It's similar to that. You have to be like consistent. Whatever you are, maybe you are not drawing something. Just think about the process. Just think about the idea that you have. Then you will just start working. So for example, yesterday I created something and I have been thinking about that for a long time. That I'll just do it. I'll make something. But you know when you approach something, but you just want to procrastinate because you feel that it's going to be either great or it's going to be shit, and you just don't know that should I be scared or should I not do it. It's just that line, and it's like, oh, I can't do it. And I have procrastinated on that for so many months, but I finally did it, and I was so happy. I literally cried yesterday after doing it. I was so happy because that was something I was really looking forward to for a long time, but I was scared to make it even. But it didn't take much time, and I was happy that I did it. So
Thank you for sharing that experience with me because I feel the same way so many days with some of my projects and ideas. I'm like, what if it turns out terrible?
yeah, exactly. What if turns out terrible? Then you will be like, you know what? I can't make it. It's just I'm not good enough. I can't do it. So I didn't want to get that feeling, but I just did it anyway.
My button didn't want to unmute. Well, I have enjoyed my conversation so much. Is there anything that I have not asked Sushmita that you would like to share?
Um, I think I said everything probably, but I would just say one thing that I think I'll just say something to the women out there probably that uh, because my a lot of the things that I create for the audience is related to the women, and I just feel that whenever I get a platform, I just need to address this that you really need to work on your things and be independent. You can't be someone that this is what is there in the society, or this is what my parents have said, or my husband or my relationship partner or whatever. If you don't work on your things and if you don't work on the other things that you need to do, then the society will not grow, right? Because how a person treats the women in the society is how it shows that if a society is advanced or not. So I just always want to tell them that be independent, work on the little things, but just learn, grow, because it is required. If you grow, then the women, other women who are out in the society, they'll be like, you know what, I can also do it. So it kind of empowers indirectly or directly the people who are out there, and it's helpful. It is required in the society that we are living in at the moment. So probably that's the message that I'll definitely give, that it is required that we need to work on those things more.
I love it. That's a great message and a perfect sort of like way to like wrap this up, because that is literally the whole idea behind career conversations, for people to be able to see themselves and the possibilities and
Right.
how to live like, a full life, not just a life of like, well, I'm a doctor or I'm a nurse or I'm an engineer or an artist, but like as a complete person, like have joy in your life. Like you said, there's things you do to rest and recharge.
Exactly.
Love
Exactly.
movies.
Absolutely. Like, be kind to people. Like, being kind doesn't mean being stupid. You have to be kind, but you have to have like
Yes.
sharp mind. Sharp mind, like who's trying to fool you, or who's trying to be like really they need help. And you have to be like super helpful towards those people. Understand people's emotions. You don't know who's going through what. You just have to understand, what they're going through. I kind of feel that because I have faced these things in my life, and I always thought, like, you know what, I never had this kind of people in my life who could tell me these things, and I always felt that I needed it. I really, really needed it. And I really think that people should understand these things, that you have to stand up for yourself. No one's going to. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to start working on it, because the moment you start working on your things and stand up for yourself, then the other people will help you, right? But because you haven't done anything, or you haven't told the people that this is what something is happening in my life, they wouldn't know that. So you just need to work on your things. You have to be happy, you have to be strong, you have to be independent, and you have to be like happy, and just and embrace the other emotions as well. Don't go into denial that I'm sad and this is that, but you have to be strong at that part as well, that okay, I can do it even though it's a bad day. I feel that way, at least.
What an amazing message. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys, Sushmita
Thank
Biswas,
you.
she is available for freelance work. She is an amazing graphic artist. She does product design. She works across the fashion and IT industry. Whatever you need, she can do it. Just make sure you get in touch with her. If you've not, followed her on Instagram, you can also email her directly. This is her email.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
So you can reach out to her here as well. Again, thank you, Sushmita, for being a part of Career Conversations. I have absolutely enjoyed having you.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me. It was a great interview. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
inviting me.